Hi, I'm Jeff Williams, the president of Absolute Results, and I'm excited to bring you the first of many tips on how to recession-proof your sales department. Right now, we're shooting this video here in Las Vegas. I just did a breakfast kickoff meeting at the King of Cars at Tobin Dodge, and they are well on their way to a fantastic private sale event. So what is the first tip I'm going to share with you on recession-proofing your sales department? Well, it comes down to a fundamental management principle that you cannot manage what you can't measure. One of the first steps to recession-proof your sales department is to stop the spillage in your dealership. Now, what do I mean by spillage? Well, there's two kinds of spillage. What I'm going to talk about right now is the spillage of opportunities on inbound sales calls. One of the things we've noticed in the last decade in the car business is how less floor traffic there is, but there's more sales calls coming in, and there's more internet leads than ever before. As a matter of fact, I was in Arizona a month ago with a good friend of mine who's the GSM of an 11 dealership, 3,000 car a month organization. We were talking about this exact subject. We're talking about how some of his bigger stores, now these are 500-600 car a month stores, how they might only get 20 or 30 ups on a day, but they'll get 50 plus sales calls. So, oh my goodness, the difference between handling those calls successfully will take you from an average month to a great month. So how do you manage and how do you track that? Well, there's all kinds of systems to track inbound sales call traffic, but let's start with the most basic, and one that I recommend you do even if you have a complex system. Because if something is right in front of you, you look at it. If it's on a computer screen, a lot of times, out of sight, out of mind. So I recommend that when your receptionist answers the phone, and it's an inbound sales call, it's an inquiry about a vehicle or for a salesperson or about a trade-in, I recommend that she take 1 or 2 extra steps every single call. Now, what's that step? Well, when the phone rings and she determines it's a sales call, rather than just page sales, I recommend she ask one question. I recommend she say to the customer, "Not a problem, sir. I'll be happy to get a salesperson for you. Who may I say is calling?" And when the customer gives her a name, he writes it down. And then she pages sales call reception instead of sales pickup line 101. When the salesperson calls in, she says, "Bill, it's John Smith on line number 2. So now she has written on her little piece of paper the name of the salesman who took the call and the name of the customer who called in. Now, at the end of the day, when the salesman goes off his shift and you do a little one-on-one at the end of every shift, you can simply review, how many sales calls did you get? Well, I only got 1 today. Well, actually, didn't you get 2? How about, John Smith and Deborah? Oh, yeah. Well, and then you have a chance to do a little coaching. And now you have a pretty good idea how many sales calls are coming into your dealership. Now, the flip side of that, if we're going to track and look for spillage, is how many appointments did we make? And again, many of you have all different appointment systems and CRMs. I recommend a simple pad at the manager's desk where the salesmen log all their appointments. All right. I recommend you review it with them daily and maybe have them highlighted when this customer shows up. And once in a while, run a spiff. Doesn't have to be every day. Once in a while, run a spiff for appointments that are kept. So if you have an appointment log, where you log every appointment, the salesmen come up and they log it themselves, you review and you have a track of how many sales calls came in, you truly know what your appointment made and kept ratio is off sales calls. And you can track the spillage. And here's something I think we all know. When you start to track something and pay attention to it, automatically the performance goes up. Automatically we do a better job when somebody's watching. That's just human nature, folks. So that's the first tip on how to recession-proof your sales department. And if you like, feel free to go to absoluteresults.com, click on the downloads link, and you'll find there a little chart for switchboard to track customers, inbound sales calls, and the salesman who took them. You'll find an appointment board that you can put at the manager's desk, and you'll also find a sales call script. So until your next private sale, have a great day.